Wise. I almost forgot my name. Wow. And we're here with Web C. How's it going, Web C?
It's going, buddy.
Yeah. How things been? You been doing good? Hanging in there?
Yeah, things have been going good. Like I was catching up with you earlier, and just letting just like everything just felt like it was like having one of those moments where you feel like everything's just closing in, but not in a bad way. Just like just like you're seeing all your dominoes fall down at the same time, type of deal. It felt relieving, to be able to make it through all of that. Part of it was, like I said, I got like this weird chest cold, and man, I've been just coughing and coughing and coughing lately. And this past couple days here has been really nice, not being sick. So I won't be coughing too much tonight, I hope. And if I do, I got some water right next to me to drink. And yeah, so it's really nice being here tonight on Hexfire Talks with the Forge. So
Yeah.
tonight's topic, Bit decided that I get to pick the topic as the guest, and so tonight, I think we're gonna stick on the topic of old world Fae in modern times. And I'm like cleaning up my station here and everything, but we're gonna pull down my computer from its shelf, and we're gonna look at that and everything, and we'll be doing that stuff. Well, Bit talks to you. Well, I'm gonna step aside and let him
Well,
do
I'm
that.
kind of doing the same, but so I'm gonna ask one thing. What are you gonna be building anything or what?
Tonight,
Yeah.
while we work, I'll probably be messing around a little bit with what I got going on. I'm working on a custom scene base, some cranes, nothing major, just some crane pieces like this. I gotta take a bunch of mold work out of them. There's a whole bunch of factory lines and stuff, and it makes it look really tacky if you don't correct those right away, or do a good job correcting those. So that's the first goal, is getting rid of all those tacky, ugly lines that make it look fake. And then we're gonna try and get it to look as realistic as possible with the paint. And that's the goal. Painting will not happen today. I promise you that, because I've been working on just this piece right here for 4 hours. And if you can see, I'm cutting away material to create like the actual lattice pattern. There's a whole bunch I got to cut away still. So I've been working on this thing for over 3 hours, getting it ready for paint. So yeah, this process is not fast. A lot of people think my work comes fast or something, and no, I quietly do a lot of it off camera and just show you guys my progress.
Yes, I do that too. And
Yep.
in
So
fact, a lot of the stuff you've seen me build these last couple months that I've been posting, I still haven't finished. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a lot going on lately, but I'm back to it. But I'm gonna be working on this because, like, I've noticed you've done one of these kind of builds where you've only done it when you're on camp, when you're doing a pod with someone.
oh yeah,
This is my Jada Dogga Quest Pariah. Man, that could be a tongue twister.
it sure
Uh,
is.
but it's the Quest Pariah Jada Dogga high grade. And it's actually
Okay.
pretty big for a high grade as well. It must have been a
No,
big mistake.
no, no, no. Lay down. Sorry, guys. My dog had to assert her dominance to the dog that's walking down the street.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
Oh, she's just being an old cuss. She's she's 10 now, so she's just an old. Hush! Nobody cares. You're gonna make me close the window, and then it's gonna get hot in here. Nobody likes that. Jeez. That dog, she's making me talk funny. You can hear the res come out of me when I'm yelling at my dog or my kids. Jeez, just what's that?
What, what was that? LJ Muskwa, like on Facebook and everything. Dude, he's funny.
There's a couple comedians from the native community that are just hilarious. One of my favorites is right now is Native Pool Boy. He's one of my
Uh-oh.
favorites. And then another one of my favorites that's native is he's an older guy. His name's Larry Omaha.
Mhm.
Amazing guy. He does a lot of great comedy.
Dude,
All right.
I want to get back into it because, well, you already know, man. I miss a lot of the stuff back home from where I was, and I need to find that kind of thing again. And so, yeah. Anyways, lost my train of thought. Ain't that about a bitch? I've been Native community's been coming back pretty hardcore too, in ways.
All right. Oh, oh boy. So
Well,
this is where it all gets interesting. I'm gonna turn my volume down. Um, yeah.
I've been seeing a lot more posts online about certain communities around where I'm at least.
Yeah. So, like I was getting at, the conversations are going to be old world fae in modern times. And one of the first things we're going to talk about are these mermaids in the Congo and Africa, the continent of Africa. Well, there are these mermaids that are popping up all over the place on the east coast of Africa. And there's actually videos starting to surface of people who are catching these things. Um,
Are they actual mermaids or are they sirens? Because there is a difference.
well, right, there is a difference. Now, what I am understanding is now the merfolk and the sirens are different. Now, what I know from a siren is to have the siren is what we normally think a mer person or a merfolk is to look like because in the Disney world and stuff in the cartoon world that we view all the time, what they actually present us as a mermaid, they're actually showing us pictures of sirens.
Yep.
So in the real world, we're always being confused. So what is a mer person or a merfolk? And they're part of the Fey line of mythical beasts and creatures, but they're from the water.
Sapien.
So what the deal is with these is how Disney portrays them as half human, half fish. Well, really, what it is yes, they're half human, half fish, but they're fully half fish, half human. So what that means is their scales don't stop halfway up like that. They're very humanoid beasts. Some of them even can divide their tail into two legs. And
So,
these beasts, when they do divide their tail into two legs, their feet are very webbed looking feet. They're more almost like you could compare them to like a duck's feet and how webbed and the shape and the look of them. But their hands, on the other hand, they look like normal human hands, but with scales and webbing that's bigger. The webbing is just bigger between their fingers. Like our webbing, we have a little bit of webbing. We don't have a whole lot right there, but the mer people, their webbing would go up to their first knuckle. Outside of their this knuckle, it would go up to this first knuckle. So that's the difference that there is between them. And the other thing is there's their heads don't have human features where the human features are. So does that make sense? So instead of the mouth being lips, they're more like a fish's lips, but it's still a mouth where a mouth is supposed to be. But
yeah.
instead of it looking like a human's pink lips, it looks like a catfish's mouth or a bass's mouth, or you know what I mean. And then where
So
the eyes are the same thing. The eyes are not like a human's eyes per se. They're more like a fish's eyes, glossed and lensed for being
so
underwater.
see if I can sum it up with a representation. Abe Sapien from Hellboy.
Abe Sapien is probably one of the best representatives of his species in real life. For us to like have as like a Hollywood representation, he is very much so exactly what I was describing and what these people are seeing in the Congo, what these videos look like and stuff. Like I'm looking at it right now. Obviously, I can't show you guys for copyright reasons and stuff. However, The videos that I'm describing to you, just constant left and right, massive amounts of videos where they're just showing all these merfolk. And I mean, we're it's pretty crazy. Anyways, the search that I just did, I just simply just searched it, and it's
Can
coming
you
up.
send
But
me a link to that through the private chat real quick, and I'll take a look at it.
oh, I can't do it through there. But I can. I do have a way to send you through private chat. Hold on, I have a different private chat to link up with. Um, so really, all I did, it was the first YouTube video that I was just watching. So I'll send you that again, and then we'll go from there. Because I forgot that I could send you those. Copy, copy. Okay, and then we'll go over to this one. Incoming. We'll see if this works because my stuff has not been working the bestest. For some reason, my Microsoft's like, no, we don't need to
Keep
encrypt
cracking all
anything.
that
But
or
my phone is
something.
like, yeah, everything needs to be encrypted. The what?
That was supposed
So
to be a laugh.
message inbound. So the first like 3 minutes of the video is showing you them capturing things in Africa, and then like halfway through the video they just switch out to other world things. Now some of these videos I'm a little skeptical about, and then some of them I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, so watch, see what you say. I feel like it's um it's iffy. It's very iffy. Uh, let's see if. Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Well, that's going. I'm gonna go back. There was a story, like an article I was trying to read up because the article was good. Um, news.
Yeah. I have to pull it up on my phone.
Okay, here we go. It's in the Daily Mail. Reasons for Zimbabwe reservoir delays. Mermaids have been hounding workers, have been hounding workers away. I will send you this.
Whoa!
I thought I was. Are you watching the video now?
They're both sirens
I'm gonna send.
and
Yeah. They're showing sirens and mermaids, but in the one they have in the net where you can see the hand coming out, that's clearly a merfolk.
Yeah.
And then the one they're showing of the one swimming through the water underneath the water, that one's a siren. But then the one on the rock is a siren. But then there's one swimming through the water that has like really thin hair, like not siren hair, but obviously looks like braided thin hair. That's a merfolk.
Yeah.
That's
Merfolk
definitely a
actually
merfolk.
give a dang about what they look like.
Hmm.
And
So
sirens are usually terrifying to look at once you get right up
they
on
usually are.
brakes.
So here's the article I'm about to read. I just sent it to you, same spot.
Yeah, I got
Essential
it.
work on planned reservoirs in Zimbabwe has stopped because mermaids have been hounding workers away, according to the country's water resource minister. Wow, that's kind of high up there. The resource minister, like that's okay. Samuel Sepipa Nkomo told the Zimbabwean Parliamentary Committee that terrified workers are refusing to return to the sites near the towns of Gokwe and Mutare. Minister Nkomo said the only way to solve the problem was to brew traditional beer and carry out any rites to appease the spirits. And then they show they once again all right, I'm gonna break some rules here because you guys got to see what they're doing here. So they're conflating again. On this website, Bit, you can definitely confirm with that. Is they're conflating this. Um,
Yeah,
the
it looks like they're confirming that. Yeah, it's artwork, but yes, it is. It is definitely siren and mermaid looking style. What
Yeah.
arms look like?
So these two pictures, these don't look like mermaids. These are definitely sirens.
Yeah.
And that
Well, the bottom
so
one is a mer. The top one is definitely a siren and its illusion around it.
right.
Because the myth
And
says the illusion comes from their song. So when they get right up on, you get right up on them and they break the song, you see them for what they really
exactly.
are.
Exactly. So and that's what I was like, so we keep looking at that. All right. All the offers I have sent have, or all the officers I have sent have vowed not to go back there. Minister Nkmo was reported as saying in Zimbabwe's state approved Herald newspaper. The senior politician said that mermaids were also present in other reservoirs. We even hired whites, thinking that our boys did not want to work, but they also returned saying they would not return to work there again, he added. Meaning they went and hired people outside of their culture and belief system. They didn't say anything to these people and let these people in this water. And that's dangerous alone. Like right there, that I see like that seems very dangerous. But so they let these people in the water, and these people came back out too, saying, "Hey, no, we're not going back in there either." So uh
It's something.
the two long overdue reservoirs are considered essential if Zimbabwe is provided adequate water to its population and to boost its agricultural production. Having once been the breadbasket of South Africa, the country's farms have been laid low by lack of faith in government policy. From 2000, President Robert Mugabe uh, expropriated some 4,000 white-owned farms and gave them to politically connected blacks. Okay, so now this is all starting to become. There's a
Yeah,
whole bunch more to that. There's a whole bunch more going on there than that, but as you guys can see, the mermaids took the blame. Is what I'm
yeah.
saying, and but the fact
That's
that
that's
they pulled the fact that they pulled the okey doke on those white people and let them in some water with some dangerous merfolk and didn't tell them. I mean, that's some bogus stuff right there too. Like that's conniving. I don't know how else to say that. I'm not okay with this. Like I feel
I have just been violated.
right. How do you? Oh, that's just not.
Oh
All right.
man. Just
So
imagine
as
the
we
poor
keep
sailors.
right, so as we keep going on
I
through
would
all
be
this,
running from every naval post I could find after that. I wouldn't even be able to watch One Piece again.
uh, yeah, we're not getting a whole bunch else with that right now. But so I mean, but that's just you know what I mean. That's insane that we're getting. Here we got fake cryptids all over Africa, and that's not necessarily where we would normally think the Fae to be. We usually when we're thinking of the Fae, we're thinking normally they're in the Atlantic, right? Is what we usually think. We don't think of them being over off to the other side by the Indian Ocean and stuff. So that's a weird thought. Now, there's also reports out of Russia about mermaids or an underwater humanoid species, which we would call a mermaid type of situation. So that report, we'll look that report up next to see if it's still here. Russia. All right, so it's something like that. So the disappearance of the world's greatest freediver, no. Mysterious water mammoths in here, no. Part of my sweat, no. Let's see. Russian mermaids. Russia, no, 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 no. Okay. It wasn't originally marked as Russia mermaids. Okay, so Russian. Let's try what we Russian DIVERSGETSPOKE. Let's see if that one pops up. Because so this I know this story, but I want to correlate it and show it to you bit before we talk about it. But or well as we talk about it. But it's that there's this hole in Russia where it leads into this underwater ice cavern where it's like the coldest one of the coldest places on Earth. And they sent in a bunch of divers.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. And when they sent in these divers, they ended up finding some stuff, and they got really scared, and they just came right back up, and they never went back down again. That's the story. But there was some evidence or whatever. They said they had brought up some evidence and took some photos and stuff of what they had saw, and in all that, part of that was you see a silhouette of two figures looking like they're armored underwater warriors. This is what I remember, and now I'm having a hard time finding it. Now, the original, I know who the original reporter is of that. His name is uh oh man, is it Unigod? Something like that. I think it's Unigod or something like that. Oh no. He's on like every social media thing. He did like the giant mountains. He was doing like that
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
You know who I'm talking about? Like we watched
yeah.
a lot of his stuff.
We did an episode on Giants back on Gun
Yeah, yeah. And we used him
as a
or
reference.
we used some of his footage to talk about things and stuff, like to give us jump off points. Well, anyways, that was that was what he was talking about and doing. It was pretty interesting. Um, and I never followed up on the story. That was like 2-3 years ago now. But I haven't followed up on the story yet. But I wanted to bring it back up because it totally falls in line with what we're talking about tonight. So I'm not finding it. I'm gonna have to open up a third window and go over to YouTube and see if I can find it. Um,
Didn't
but
that guy
I'm
Jerry?
trying to remember that guy's name. I follow him. So let's just see if I can remember his name in the followers. Night God 333. There we go. So everybody knows about Night God 333 and the crazy stories he shares with everybody. So a few years ago, Night God shared a story, and I think maybe I can play the audio and just oh I can do that. Okay. Let's do that. We'll just do that. We'll see what pops up, and I will put on a headphone of a different nature, and you guys are going to see me doing what I call tripling up. So here goes another headphones. We're going to put it on here so you guys don't hear this copywritten audio, so we don't get flagged for that. And I will try and find this. So, almost time. Almost time.
Sort of other
Um,
things going on in the world. There's been reports of certain things happening around areas where there's heavy magnetic fields in certain parts of Europe. There's also been activity in certain parts known to of very tragic events. France, all the caverns in France that are actually mass graves.
mhm.
People saying there's been a lot of activity in those as well. Things are waking up.
Yeah, lots of things are going on. Um, this is killing me. Come on. Oh, I really want to find it. It was such a great story. Like, Night God tells it so much better than I do. Most of what he's talking about is Antarctica, megalodons, and other weird things.
There's some place in over in the UK where they have this hole in the backyard. So they attached a phone or something and they dropped it down the hole. And it
Ooh.
got down really far and they had to stop. So they come back with even more cord. They had to do this 3 or 4 times. By the time the phone got down to where it started picking something up, it was pretty fucking far. It was a demonic sounding breath and something in a language that couldn't be explained. But they can't actually translate all of what was said in the video. So they don't know if it's a fake or a real.
Understand.
Well, if it's anything like, if it's a demonic language, it would be something closer to angelic or maybe, I don't know really. There's so many demons in different paths, it's unreal.
Oh, totally.
And that's where some people get it mixed up. Demons aren't just for Christians, Catholics, and all that. No. They're in every single path. They are a foot soldier of evil. Pretty much.
What is this? Netflix is doing a documentary on actresses that dress up as mermaids. Real mermaid caught on tape, 31 seconds. It's a 31-second video. Oh, there's a shadow in the background. That's all we got. Don't care. Real mermaid swimming under boat. No.
So I've been wanting to kind of branch off into a different type of build with just Gunpla. And I was thinking about like a frame arms or maybe a Macross.
Ooh.
Zoid.
You know, the Zoids line is a really good line.
I built a Blade Liger a long time ago and it was a Tommy. It was one of the motorized ones.
Oh, from what Takara told me.
Yeah.
I've heard those ones are good.
It was one of the gray. It was gunmetal gray. It had gold on the blades, and you could either put the blaster or you could put the ion engines.
Okay.
And it
My
had gold.
Kotobukiya came with the 2 different options for the Command Wolf that I built. It came
Yeah.
with both backpacks, and that was cool. But that was from Kotobukiya, so it was a little slightly different.
If you were to take a master grade IBO build, take a mix with your Command Wolf, which one would you use for it?
Well, there's only one master grade IBO build.
You would do Barb.
There's only one. All the other 1/100 kits are full metals.
Oh shit!
Or full mech.
Yeah, you're not gonna kit bash that.
So that's how I was like, I don't know.
How would you do it though? What
actually,
what do you have for the back unit on your wall?
I mean, 144 would be more appropriate size-wise. To be honest about that, because a 144 kit, the Command Wolf is not very big. So, like, are you talking about making the Command Wolf a ride mount, or are you talking about kit bashing them together to make like a
kinda
werewolf?
Like that Barb, kind of like that Barb Geosaurus that I showed you.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. And that, I mean, you're looking at maybe possibly needing 2 command wolves to get that done if you were to do it, but it's doable. I just like that's a lot of money. That's $180 right there.
Or you can
So
plan it out over time and do it.
yeah, I mean, you would just have to collect everything first before even starting to work because I don't know. I mean, my master grade Barbatos, and as I'm looking at it, it's really hard to. There's not much. You know what I mean? Like, there's no room on this kit for extra. As I'm looking at this, like,
All right,
it
what
is an
would you,
amazing kit. Don't get
what
me wrong. It's a very amazing kit. It's just,
what Gundam would you use then?
um,
Or molds?
well, I would choose a 144 Barbatos because I feel like the 144 kits have so much more for them to be customized into, and there's a lot of open space and gaps for you to take the stuff from the wolf and put it onto Barbatos properly. It gives you so much more. But as is in the master grade here, what's happened is there's so much part separation and everything, is there's no good spots to start connecting all those extra pieces. As I'm looking, like it's really hard. It's one of those kits that I'm like, where are we gonna it's got a lot of good looking stuff to it, but there's just no. I'm not seeing the connectivity for certain, like what you're thinking. I think, and I don't
All
know.
right, so all right, if you were to do it on your command wolf, what back unit do you have? There's either a single shot variant or there's a double shot variant, double barrel. I mean,
What? There's 3. I thought there was 3.
well, no, there's a different one, but that's a high speed, and that one has a little bit different setup sometimes. Those are usually customized depending on what series they're on.
Okay. I think I don't know. I guess I think I'm using the high end single shot on the one I got. I think.
What series was it from? And was it like a main character?
No, it was just Command Wolf from Kotobukiya.
Okay, so it's just
Um.
a general issue.
Yeah, I had. So
Like that, I just thought that build, that Geosword build, was really cool.
yeah, Geosort can be cool, but like I said, the issue that I was having with the like trying to find a way to incorporate the IBO frame and stuff like that is there's not a lot to hang on to. Like you would have to separate or sacrifice some of the actual original armor to even get it to get a good spot to mount parts to it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not sure. I would have to think a lot more on it. It would have to be something where it's like the parts are like gloved together, maybe or something. Because
You
I'm not.
might have to.
I'm not.
You might have to find someone that can run a CAD program and just mold them together.
Yeah,
So
and
now
then you would
having
just
things
have
printed
to take
out.
those. Right, you'd have to take those parts and just make that.
But it would be doable. It'd probably save time too.
So this is what I'm saying is like I'm not sure. There's a lot going on here. I mean,
Oh, that's the Trailblazer edition. That's
so
a heavy command. That's the command one too. That's definitely a high speed setup. Yeah, that
like I
one's
said,
like
so
the
this
heavy
specific,
version of it. That thing's just meant for
yeah.
going in and taking everything out. That's a beam cannon on top.
So yeah, this beam cannon comes with it. This dual cannon comes with it.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, it's pretty nice. And
Yeah.
then here's what the wolf looks like without the two cannons.
Pretty much.
He just looks like a normal command wolf. I painted the custom paint shop is from me. So
Well, I know that like what in Zoid series you can usually count on two things. The rival in the team is usually in a wolf type, or the person that the main character looks up to is in a wolf type. The girl is usually in either a dinosaur type. Sometimes
or a
that's like a
Pachyderm.
maybe, and then the main character is always in a liger in a Zoid show.
Usually
Hmm?
usually the main character's in a liger.
Yeah.
There was the one where his main one was actually a long neck or whatever. It wasn't actually the liger. The liger was like his fighting buddy, but he actually liked to hang out with the other Zoids better, or something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
was his house. That one carried his house around.
Yeah, exactly. So there were the different versions in the shows, like, there was the cockpits in the Zoids and then the cockpits out of the Zoids, and then they explained like, oh, this is like intermediate evolution. The Zoids haven't fully evolved yet. So the first Zoids you watched, they were like fully evolved creatures and robotics. And we're trying to bring you back to like their primitive, their more primitive versions. I was like,
Hmm.
okay. I don't know. I was just going with it, like,
So they're
hey,
going
whatever.
fast backwards.
Like, I'm not the guy writing this story. I can't get mad at you, you know.
Some of the stuff that they have in the more like recent ones are actually it's kind of cool, like the weaponry and everything. And a lot of it's like, what the fuck?
It
They got
is,
a
and
Titan
you are
class
right.
Zoid that is bigger than King Garadon.
Well, I mean, Kong is supposed to be bigger than King Garadon.
It's bigger than all of them. It's bigger than Psycho Geosaur or Berserk Further.
I
It's a
know.
it's like the size of two. It's like about this. It would be like Psycho Gundam 2.
Yeah.
It would be that big.
So I mounted my command wolf so that it could hold all three of the cannons. That's all I was like, oh, that's right. The cannons weren't supposed to be mounted at the same time, all three. But I was like, screw it. We're putting it all together to make it look like all the cannons go together and stuff. So all I did was on these lower cannons, is I took their shields and I brought them up just a little bit, and it made it look like a cohesive.
Uh, like I've been wanting to like get back into those, but it would take me a while to get stuff saved up to get one. And I've been wanting to do a kit bash with like several ligers. I want to make one blade. I want to make it different variations of the blades put together, blade ligers put together, and like the Schneider and those types, the Masamune. And then I wanted to do like Panzer variation with like maybe a D Bison.
I would like to take a Liger and make a Liger Wing Zero.
Ooh, connect it with make the Phoenix. Take the Phoenix Liger and make that the basis. That would be better. A base.
No, well, I don't want the Liger, like, I don't want the base Liger Zero. I want, I want Liger Zero at his most optimum, performance. I don't want just the base Liger Zero. So in the Zoids that I grew up watching, Liger used to get upgrade packs, and he would have Liger Blade, Liger Jaeger, and Liger Storm,
Panzer Schneider
Liger
Jaeger.
Lightning. Yeah,
Big
and so
Cloud was the pilot. There was a Geo Sniper that had a rather particular pilot that just liked to launch everything all at one time, at one target.
So, yeah, I would definitely like to maybe use that specific Liger and then take one of his more optimal armors and mod off some of the outer shells of the armors and take some of the outer shell pieces from Wing Zero and turn those into the outer shell armors for the Liger. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I might be able to design some weapons to help with that.
Yeah. So, and well, I was thinking about taking the dual rifles and mounting them underneath in his chest and making them drop out is what I was thinking. I was thinking about compacting him, making him very just like Wing Zero, compact but deadly. You know what I mean? Like, and so if he fires his power
blades and you can put them on the forearms.
Yeah, and we can say they're and they can be powered up by nuclear reactors instead of their regular canisters. Because Wing Zero actually has a nuclear reactor in it and not an energy plasma like other Gundams. So
yeah, a lot of them in UC towards the end of UC, they went to a fusion battery of some kind, I think.
Yeah, something like that to go along with their particles that they had. In Wing Gundam, the regular mobile suits were powered by regular conventional energy, but the Gundams and the Tall Geese were powered with, I think, hydrogen nuclear reactors or something like that.
It was a very high output type of device. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, and that's why is because they needed the high output for the individual weapons that were being used. With Wing Zero's Big Buster and
only the Gundams can use each other's weapons. They can't. Nobody else can pick them up and use them. They're all chipped.
Well, yeah, no, well, of course, no. Each Gundam is assigned its special, prowess, right? Like Sandrock is for dry environments, as to where, what is it? Not heavy arms, but Shenlong. Shenlong can go easily into the water.
Yeah, basically anywhere there's moisture, he would be good.
Yeah. Right, and then Death Scythe and Wing Zero are both obviously flight units, and then Heavy Arms. Heavy Arms is a ground unit, but he's not like a purposeful ground unit because the pilot of Heavy Arms had Heavy Arms re-geared for being a circus act, a ballerina. Like a circus ballerina. So the whole concept behind Heavy Arms is lots of ammunition, very nimble Gundam. Like what? This Gundam can twirl in the sky and do a 360 degree. Yeah. Like there's so much cool things about Gundam Heavy Arms that people just overlooked.
Yeah, he had anti-aircraft miniguns in his chest. He had Hellfire missile pods all over the fuck over him, and he also had 4 beam Gatling guns with caseless Gatling ammunition, and 1 heat blade that was fixed to the forearm, his left forearm.
Yeah, and then
it was false.
And then yes, more. There's more. There's more.
You never know when he's gonna pop out. He had that big freaking, a bigger minigun. He had in 3rd, 4th form, I believe. That thing.
Don't forget the hooks that are on the shoulders that are good for tackling in close combat. Like that's what everybody forgets, man. Is that once Heavy Arms runs out of its ammo, it can drop all that stuff and become a close combat monster.
It would be like going up against a football player that also knew kung fu.
Yeah. So Heavy Arms. That's why Heavy Arms is on the tier of one of my favorite Gundams.
I would like
The
to
Wing
think that
Gundam
if
series alone, but
I like to think that Heavy Arms is what is a tank for a variant. It just goes in and destroys everything.
yeah, you know, I always thought of it as the enforcer of the team.
And then Wing Zero's the like the one hit wonder. It's the precision tactical strike unit.
Yeah,
Designated
like Benny.
silent death machine.
Yeah, he's like Benny the Jet Rodriguez. He's our key player. He comes in and makes that one swing, and then he tickles with the beast.
Yep.
Totally
And
get that.
then if you really want to give a statement, you would send Heavy Arms. If you wanted to make a peace gesture, you would send Sandrox, because the pilot is very
yeah, Catra is very diplomatic. You're right. Catra does have a very diplomatic side as to where
peacecraft.
Yeah, and then you also got the your assassin, the count, the god of death himself, Duo, and he's pretty awesome too. He was like, when I was a kid, he was my favorite when I was a kid, for obvious reasons. The guy just he exudes, confidence. Like he doesn't have much doubt in him. He's just like, I'm the god of death and I know it. And other people are like, what? So as the other pilots, they're not so much like that, except for Zex. Zex is like that, but he kind of
Hira is a different type of variant. He's the counter opposite of Duo.
Yeah. Well, he's more like Johnny Knoxville, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that would blow himself up if he knew he was going to lose, if he couldn't make it out, but he would still be able to complete the mission.
This is Johnny Knoxville. I'm Hiro Yui, and welcome to Jackass.
He'd just be like, fuck it, pink. Johnny Knoxville would have gone out after saying something really stupid and funny.
Well, that's the whole meme, right? Is when Hiro blows up the Wing Gundam in the TV show for the first time in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
The
lines was destroyed.
Yeah, I take it as the joke, him saying, "Hi, I'm Hiro Yui, and welcome to Jackass," and then he clicks the button and everything blows up. That's my favorite. I made that as like a GIF meme or whatever, 10 years ago. That was something I did because I thought it was hilarious, and it's still out there. You can still search for it, and you can still find it. A couple other people have made different ones of it, but it's so true. And for other Gundam series, like I said, I'm not big. I'm not a big Seed guy, not a big 00 guy, not a big much else. My generation, we watched G Fighter and we watched the originals, and then we watched.
I did watch as many of the UC series when I first got into 0079. As soon as I could search the internet, I was finding every series I could. I watched 0083 and 0080.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I just couldn't get into 0079 and 008 or 080 or whatever. They weren't mine.
The years that they came out in. It was 1980 and 1983.
For me, it was just I couldn't relate on the topics at the time. It wasn't clicking in my head. So, and then also it was I wasn't enthralled as I was with the other Gundam shows, because the other Gundam shows I was more enthralled because the Gundams weren't mass produced. As to where in 008 and 0079, you feel more like the GMs and stuff are mass produced, and you don't feel like they're, there's as much really the significance of those battles you don't feel like are as significant until you retrospectively look at all of what those battles meant and what they played a role in as. But as you're watching it, you're like, why am I watching this? What was this important? Like, I do have those moments where I question that heavily. Not because I don't like the show or anything. It's more just like when I'm trying to absorb the content of it, I'm like, they're babbling. Why are they babbling?
Well, there's a lot of
And like you said, when you were asking me about
series.
and then you were asking like about the new Seed movie, and you were like, I was telling you like, no, I don't know, and you're like, oh, I just want to see the battle or the Gundams fight. I was like, that's about it for me too, man. I just want to see the Gundams fight. That's all I care about.
I just really, I think it's cool because part of the whole scene, you like see tech from different parts of throughout the Seed series incorporated into where you didn't think it was going to go. It's just really cool. Big
No, that makes
massive weapons. Who doesn't like to see giant robots fight?
Exactly.
The only thing better than giant monsters fighting, or giant robots fighting, is giant robot fighting kaiju.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting that soon too.
I hear that there might be a new, like, kind of, well, it's Pacific Rim. There's going to be some other type of giant mecha movie coming out. And then there's the Netflix series coming out for Gundam.
Well, Messinger, they're trying to put together a live action Messinger. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, Mazinger Z, and Mazinger Infinity was another one.
Yep. So yeah, they're trying to put together, I think, like a live action of that or something.
I thought
I don't know what the updates are.
Pretty decent. The other ones were kind of touchy.
Yeah, I don't know what the updates are, but that's what I got. There was a lot of that. People were talking about that. Let's see if my grand old computer has anything to say about that. Live action.
Well,
live action mecha.
Wow.
It's I think that would probably give us, the best. Gundam Requiem for a Vengeance. That's the new one on Netflix.
Yeah.
Gaia King. Gaia King is 13 years old. They did a live action Gaia King.
Gaia King was one of the remakes was all right. I haven't seen anything else on it.
This looks god awful. Don't do this. Please don't do this, guys. Addictor Pro posts 2024 Neon Genesis Evangelion. Oh, it's just my only issue is it's not. I've never liked that show, that series. Nothing about it. I just plot hole. We're gonna make a really cool mecha robot, and we're gonna tie it to a power cord, so you can't really do anything with it. Like that.
Unless you got a battery that only works for so long.
Right, so I was the plot hole of the show just bothered me. Gotcha Man, Japanese trailer, 2013. No. Gundam live action movie official teaser. So that's not so Gundam live action is still going to be different than Requiem. And it's going to be the narrative Gundam. The Gundam they're using for Gundam live action, it's going to be narrative. So it's going to have Psychoplate.
They're going the Nightfall thing new? That's how I look at it.
That's what live action is going to be. The Jonathan Entwistle or whatever. Or not Entwistle, but whoever that guy is. Yeah. The live action, they're saying it's going to be, now they're just showing scenes from a movie we've already watched. Well, that's not promising. I love it when they can't come up with a real live.
in that I'm in for Blah, I'm looking at the new action poses with the new real grade Gramps. It has the hyper hammer.
Oh, I heard it's pretty cool.
Dude, I'm
Insane
looking
giant
at it.
robots on Earth. Let's see if this helps. We're going to update it for today. No. We already looked at that. The Wild Robot. 2 months ago. Somebody's talking about the new Power Rangers suits. Gundam, the live-action movie.
I
Teaser
haven't seen
trailer
the ones yet.
from Anime Nerd. Official teaser, Ultraman Rising. I like the Ultraman series that they did on Netflix. That was good. They were okay.
Yeah, it was.
So, Mecha's comparison. Yeah, I'm not getting any new Mecha movies. They keep advertising
Well,
for
they're
a new
supposed to be
Dragon Ball Z movie.
Oh yeah. I hope they do better than than the first one. That was sad.
Mobile
That's all
Suit Gundam.
I hear that there's also Star Wars in the works. The second Golden Age after after the Sith Jedi War.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't dislike Star Wars or what they're doing with it, but I have one problem with it. Why are you giving this whole galaxy our political problems here on Earth, where our Earth doesn't exist in their galaxy? Why are we creating that? Why are we doing that? It's supposed to be a fantasy escape from our reality. We shouldn't be pulling politics from our world into that reality. We should be escaping from it. So that's the biggest issue I have about Star Wars right now, is that they're pulling politics from our world that don't match up with the actual content of Star Wars, in my opinion. And they could find a better way to do that. If they wanted to do that, they could find a much better way to do that instead of pulling it directly out of the real world and making it, like that. They could do better. They've got better stories that they just like totally, they totally ruined their plot line. They had over 20 years worth of work on hand that they could have used, and yet instead of using that 20 years worth of work that could have brought them 20 years from now, to the 2040s, and they could have still been making great stories with the work that's already been done. But they chose to omit all that work that's been done already because they don't want to pay somebody a royalty, is what it boiled down to. I did the digging, and what it boiled down to is Disney didn't want to pay the writers of the Star Wars Expanded Universe any royalties. So what did they do?
They brought in all new.
That's why they got rid of the Solo twins. That's why they got rid of Luke Skywalker's marriage. That's why they canceled Luke from being the proper Grand Master that he was in over 20 years worth of books. And that's where I got the big problem. It was like, you canceled all that time I dedicated into watching and reading this show, or in reading these books. And then when I finally hear that you're going to make new movies based on content, you go with some freaking awful content route that nobody even liked. You forced it down our throats to where by the time the third movie came out, we just said, meh, fine, whatever. We're just watching it now because it's Star Wars. We're not watching it hoping to see something new. Like, when I watched the third movie, I was not surprised when they made Rey a Palpatine. It did not surprise me. So I was surprised in Return of the Jedi, when Darth Vader threw Palpatine down the shaft. That
Yeah.
fucking surprised me. Okay, that was a surprise. But the end of that movie, like, huh. And I also feel like the third movie in this new trilogy was also just one battle. It was just an hour and 30-minute long battle. There was nothing else really going on around it. Nothing really mattered else in the story of the plot line. Like all the people who were fighting against the they didn't even matter. They didn't matter. As soon as they killed the emperor, everything just crashed anyways, meaning those people could have took off and they would have just it would have just all crumbled anyways after they killed the emperor. So I don't know. I'm kind of like confused on all that. Like that just that there's
Well,
no good closure on that last movie there. So
they should
everything,
did it like they were supposed to, like George Lucas wrote it, Yuuzhan Vong.
yeah. I think the storyline and map that I laid out for them after they started this, like back when they did the first movie and they screwed it all up and I wasn't happy. I laid out a path to reconciliation for the fans. And I was like, these are the movies you should have made. And it should have been, you should have took the Young Jedi books where Jason and Jaina and all their friends learned to be Jedis. You should have taken those books and turned that into a trilogy. That would have been your first trilogy coming back in, introducing us to, Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order and all of that. Then, the end of that trilogy, you could have sneak peeked us the Yuuzhan Vong War. Okay. And then the next trilogy could have been all the Yuuzhan Vong War broken down into 3 movies. Right? And we would have broke those down in Invasion, Acceptance, The Living Force. Those could have been the 3 movies, right? And that would have concluded all of the Yuuzhan Vong War. And then the third trilogy could have been the battle between Jason and Jaina.
Mm-hmm. And then at
And
the
that
very
would have and that
have,
was there's 3 free trilogies for you, man. That would have created way more better content than the one trilogy we had.
yep, they are, in my mind, they really fucked up, and they took the easy way out. They took out the competition. They shut it down. They're probably gonna do a few things, and then we're probably gonna lose it.
Yep. So, well, what they can do is they can go back and say, well, because we invented this thing called the veil, we can use the veil to say that this version of the story never happened. And we can retro in what actually should happen which is what I say happens, or what, me and you agree on, is that it should go to the Yuuzhan Vong War and not that. And, there should be the Solo twins and, is it Anakin? Anakin, and then there's Ben Skywalker, right? That's how that works?
Yeah.
I believe that's right.
Ben Skywalker would have been Jason, and Rey would have been Jane.
Well, Ben Solo, they ended up naming him Ben Solo in the actual movies. So Kylo Ren, his real name was Ben, and I was like, that's supposed to be Luke's son's name.
Mm-hmm. Ben Solo for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it doesn't make sense for Leia and Han to name him after Obi-Wan, because Leia and Han didn't have as big of a connection as Luke did with Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan was always watching over Luke anyways.
Right. Well, that's what I said. They didn't have as big of a connection as Luke did. That connection was there between Luke and Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. And so that just, I could ramble on and on about my displeasure for the Star Wars series and what they've done. The only thing that I can say they've done right.
I watched, what was it, Last Jedi? And then that was it. I haven't watched the other one because I saw the preview and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Can't
so,
Y'all fucked up.
Yeah. So the only things that I do like that they've done recently with Star Wars is the bounty hunter stuff with
Yeah, Mandalorian sagas.
yeah, with Mandalorian and Boba Fett. I like that stuff. That was good content.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, they're going back to before they fucked everything up. You know? They're,
They're
so
reestablishing the timeline into a different one through the series.
right. So in the series they can
Thing.
yeah, so in the series they don't have to follow with the movies timeline too much. They can veer out and, kind of they can maybe course correct, and it wouldn't be too bad to see a version where Luke Skywalker actually does rebuild the Jedi Academy and everything. Now, there's options. There's options between who we can have as Luke Skywalker now, because we actually have more actors that actually look like Luke Skywalker. We don't have to continue to cast Mark Hamill and stuff like that. So I agree with quite a few other people that Sebastian Stan looks just like Luke Skywalker and is age appropriate. Okay.
There are and I also hear that they're supposed to be doing a Highlander movie. They're supposed to be doing a new one.
Yeah, with Henry Cavill.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, I heard about that too, but I didn't dig into it. So I heard about it, but it wasn't like a big dig into it. The dog. I'm sorry, guys. Hello, dog.
Are you being mean to the dog?
No. My wife comes home, so I let the dog out the front porch to greet her. And she was looking through the window because the window was open. So she was outside looking in. So it was kind of funny. She was like, "Oh, this is a perspective moment," like,
Wow.
So, yeah. How are you, Mrs. Wimmer?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just hanging out on this podcast. Probably gonna skip on out of here soon.
All right.
Like it's been an hour and almost 10 minutes.
So yeah,
I usually try and keep them short. So yeah, we'll have you come in probably not this Friday because I think I was gonna arrange for Taco Holic to come and talk with me and do an interview on Friday. So I was thinking 3 weeks from now, I'll probably have you come in and we'll do an interview with you. And basically, it's just showcasing who you are, where you are, what got you into everything, just your background type of deal. To give people like a basis, a builder bio kind of a basis for you. And that's what I'm going to do with this whole new group that I got. Every couple of weeks, I'm just going to invite one of them in, and we'll do a builder bio interview with them. And then they'll have that, and they can be like, "Hey, yeah, you can go check this out. I did this interview with such and such, and you can learn all about me." So they'll be able to do that. But yeah, that's what I got going on, and everybody will be able to expect to see me doing all that stuff. I had a great night. I had a great talk. And you guys all have a great time too. We'll see you next time. And